for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culture PlayStation podcast with over 50 years of playing PlayStation and 15 years in that game's media. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. That date may change as of next year. But if you'd like to talk about that and other things, come check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist. We can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation podcast. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Max, I'm going to kick things off with a question.
No.
And then a story. Okay, cool.
Now,
granted, obviously, we have this podcast, and this podcast has recorded our thoughts and our opinions and just all the nonsense things we've said over the last X amount of years. But have you ever had physically a demonstration of your stupidity, like on your body? Now, obviously, I'm not talking like a tattoo side of things.
I was going to say, are you regretting the PlayStation symbols on your arm?
Absolutely okay. No, and never.
Where are you going with this?
So, I was in Sydney for the last 2 days, from Friday into Saturday, and I spent most of Friday in the Circular Quay area filming stuff for work. Now, in true Betson fashion, I got sunburned. But the best part about it, though, Max, it wasn't until I got home yesterday. We had Christmas party, fly in, drive to Seaford, wrestling show, come home, whatever. Come home, I'm in the shower, and I look down at my arms, and I'm like, why the hell is the back of my hand hurting? My right hand hurting so hard? Why is my right arm more burnt than my left hand? My left arm. So then I proceeded to retrace my steps of how I applied sunscreen, and I can see exactly where I fucked up. To a T. So, for those of you playing at home on the video, from the back of my hand, from my middle finger, bottom of my middle finger down to the lower of my thumb, was substantially more sunburnt than the rest of my hand. So I'm like, okay, I clearly didn't apply sunscreen to the back of my hand for some reason. So then I proceed to look up my right forearm, and there are two streaks. There's a red streak on the inner and a red streak on the outer, but then a slightly lesser red strip down the middle. I'm like, okay, so I've got, fucking GT stripes on my arm. That's odd. Look over to my other arm. Back of my hand, on my left hand, perfect. White, fine. Slight pink on my forearm on my left, and then my knees, I didn't sunscreen them at all. My knees fucking killing me. So in short, what I've worked out is that I have put the sunscreen in my hands, I have put my hands together, I have then scooped over my left hand, up my left arm, perfectly coating my left arm. My left forearm, immaculate. Didn't add more sunscreen, went solely off what was left in my left hand, which wasn't that much because it turns out, scooped it with my right, then proceeded to only use my fingertips on my right arm and go down the middle, and then by then I'm smearing the smallest amount of sunscreen, attempt to go up and over, and then on the back of my hand, but across my hand, leaving that. And this is me standing in the shower at 2:00 last night, because I obviously just got home from the wrestling. I'm like, this is insane. I'm someone that gets sunburned a lot and often, because my medication, my Ritalin actually makes me more prone to sunburn, and I'm 9 generations white dude, minimum. like English white dude, like Scottish. Like I'm fucking built to get sunburnt. And normally when I do get sunburnt, it's because I didn't put sunscreen on at all. So like it's normally an all over burn. So I never actively think about the application of sunscreen and how it would impact it. No, I understand this is the most dumbest fucking thought process I could have ever had in my life, especially in the shower at 2 a.m. But yeah, have you ever had that, even remotely?
I mean, I've gotten sunburnt from not putting sunscreen on, but I haven't left like white handprints over
Yeah,
my
yeah,
body.
yeah. It felt like, you know, like those dudes in fucking in Lord of the Rings with a big white handprint on their face.
Urukai.
Urukai, thank you. I was going to say
Didn't go
orcs, but they're not the orcs.
You didn't go with the more game related, and you had like the BT hands all over you.
Oh shit! Yeah, but they're black though. Ooh, can I say that?
Okay, it's the white hand of Saruman. Sorry.
So you've never had that experience of like like obviously clearly missing a part of your sunscreen.
I mean, you know, I've gotten the I'm the driver fucking sunburnt arm for having my holding the hand up on the, but no, I've never. No.
Damn. Well, on a good note, I feel stupider, so that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, done. How's your week been, man?
I honestly don't even remember my week. Hey, it's just been a flurry of hot messes. Like it's just been a hot mess flurry. I don't know what's been going on. Things have happened, I guess. I don't remember much.
Shit, now I'm trying to think. It certainly feels like a week that kind of went.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Like I didn't say it doesn't feel like it went at like a strong pace. Also, hey, Aussie Kebab, sick name. They've asked in the chat. Aussie Kebab, great name. Asking about Witcher 4. We'll be getting to Witcher 4 shortly. We're about to. Go ahead.
I think it's just been one of those. I mentioned it last week. I'm in holiday mode, so like.
Oh, you've already clicked in.
Yeah, I've already. Yeah, apparently I checked out last weekend.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember anything from this week. Things happened.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. Aside from going to Sydney, and then the wrestling show yesterday, I don't know what else happened this week.
Oh man.
Sure, things happened. Do you at least remember what you played this week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's that?
So I'll kick things off with the funniest of my experiences gaming this week.
Mm.
So I was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh yeah.
What a fucking story. So at the start of the game, it kind of gives you some text prompts of how you want to build your character for like physical traits and attributes. So I'm like, I want to be a smooth talker and I want to be kind of dexterous. And it's like, cool. And then you go through the first thing and your sister, I think it's your sister comes and she's like, hey, dad wants you. He's at the forge. And you're like, okay. And you fucking walk out of your house, you go to the forge and your dad's like, oi, we need to make some shit, but I've got no money. I've got no materials. Go get me materials. And you being the peasant son that you are like, give me some money, dad. If you want me to buy you shit to get shit done, you go give me some cash. He's like, well, I'm broke because the last guy I made stuff for, I made him some hammer and some fucking nails and some other shit and an axe. He fucked off, didn't pay for him. He's like, go to his house, get me my money. I'm like, okay, I see how this is.
Oh, you're like the okay for your dad.
I'm the guy. So I walk to this guy's house. I'm like, hey, sir. And it's like, hey, you opted for speechcraft at the start of the game. Do you want to like smooth talk him? Like, yes, I would love to smooth talk him. That's what I wanted.
Hey, baby, you got my
and
money.
and then I proceeded to call this guy a drunken piece of shit, and it's no wonder why his wife and children left him. And turns out he didn't like that, and he beat the shit out of me. And then the game's like, you fucked up, didn't you, son?
Yeah.
I guess you need to find a different way to get these tools back so you can sell these tools for money. And I'm like, okay, I'll break into his house. That's the only option I have. I'm dexterous. I picked it at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Break into his house, find the hammer, find the nails. The axe that I need, still he's got in his hand. And he's currently chasing me through his house. So what do? The young, strong... I run back to my dad. He proceeds to beat the shit out of me in front of my dad. My dad then kills him, and then we hide the body together. And then I'm like, I think I've had enough of this game for now. I'm gonna put it away for later. That was my first 15 minutes of this game.
And I love this because the reason that you're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance this week is that they've announced that the date's moved. So it's a little bit earlier in February. And like knowing that February is just going to be a cluster heap, we were chatting like, maybe we should play Kingdom Come now. And it's like $5 on as part of the store. I'm like, yeah, cool. I bought on the shared account. Here you go. Have a blast. Yeah, and then shortly I get this voice message from you being like, all right, get ready. And it was exactly that. And like, I don't know about you. If you've ever needed a selling point on a game, I think that might be it. Because you couldn't the logical scripting of that doesn't make sense.
I full on, channeled my inner Malfoy. Like, my father will hear about this, ran back to daddy, and then my daddy decided to kill the man who beat the shit out of me.
But also, why didn't your dad fucking kill him at any other point? If he's more than capable
he's like
killing this dude.
He's like the town blacksmith. You wouldn't want to just go to jail for killing this guy.
Well, he's a blacksmith. He's needed. He'd have pardons.
I don't think that out.
No, that's not how it works at all.
It may be. I don't know. All I know is currently I've hidden a body in our backyard, and those repercussions may or may not come back to haunt me at a later date. No one saw it happen, but
yeah, but you've clearly demonstrated your speechcraft's a little bit shit.
But when they search his house to find out some clues of why he's missing, they're going to notice that the 3 things that he didn't pay for are also gone.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah. And then the policeman's going to come up to you and be like, "Hi, do you have any word about this?" And then you call him a piece of shit and explain why his wife left him, and then you'll get beaten up by the police. And next thing you and your dad are burying a lieutenant.
It took a wild turn when I called him like a piece of shit drunk. I'm like, whoa, that is not the option that I thought I was getting into here.
Like, it's not wrong, but I wasn't ready to tell him.
So yeah, that was Kingdom Come Deliverance. That was rad. I've been playing a little bit more Balatro, as I do. But the main thing I've been playing this week is Path of Exile 2. Game is kicking all kinds of ass.
So, has much changed on it for you in your thought process since last week?
So I'm at the back end of Act 2 now. So there's currently in the game playable. There is 3 acts out of the total of 6, because it is early access. I have played the first 2 acts 4 times in total now because I keep re-rolling my character, just trying different things out before I get too invested. The game's still fun. It runs really well. They are patching it almost daily. It's been a lot of fun. I'm playing on PC. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, if you're a fan of like ARPG games, if you like Diablo, but it's not doing it for you anymore. If you're a fan of PoE 1, like PoE 2 is just an easy recommend. Like, yes, it is going to be free to play in a few months once it's at full release. It is a buy into play now currently, but for $40, I've put like how many? Let's check how many hours have I put into it already. Too many. I've put 30 hours into it already, and I only purchased it
like Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, Thursday.
That's impressive. That's genuinely impressive.
So, yeah, it's good fun. I haven't had a chance to play the new Astro Bot Winter Wonderland level, but my daughter's been smashing it out for the last 3 days.
Well, I have. So now, granted, I've not been able to play it earlier in the week, as in the weekend, I should say. So I did spend some time this morning jumping through the new Astro Bot level. What's called Winter Wonderland. It's I assume it's not a timed world, like once it's in. However, it is entirely set within Christmas. So there's like Christmas trees and snowmen, and everyone's wearing hats.
It's cool. It's got all of the little doohies.
Oh yeah, it's crammed every upgrade, every little trick that you can have. So it's got the elephant, the farting chicken, the monkey, the cannonball thing. Like, you name it, it's in there. And they're all kind of create little puzzles to collect 15 presents around the island. Now, it's not like a run-through experience like most of the levels. It is here's an island, you can see everything from where you are, have fun. So
Hadley spent like 30 minutes this afternoon knocking Christmas bells up the stairs of a gingerbread village.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Look, it's the joy of the game. And there are 6 new bots, and they are all six, and they are all themed. There's no additional like rando bots. In the chat with a good question, Aussie Kebab jumps in and says, "Should I play Astro's Playroom before I grab Astro Bot?" No, it's not a requirement. Like, they are indirect sequels. Like, they're the same characters because there's. It's not like a shared narrative. However, I think to understand what Astro Bot is at large, you should play Playroom. Sorry, Max, go.
They are a little bit different too.
Yeah,
stylistically.
Yeah, in terms of how they deliver the collectibles,
and how the game runs. Yeah. And there were 7 bots in Winter Wonderland.
How many? Sorry, 7.
7.
Thank you. There was like spoilers for everyone playing at home. We're going to discuss the characters. There's your time. Couple of really killer ones in this, actually. So the ones that stood out to me were both of the Insomniac Spider-Man. So we get Miles Morales and Peter Parker. We also get Croc, Gex, Tombi, and Rayman. Dope list. Do you agree? Disagree?
Oh yeah, no, I very much agree.
Mute in the chat goes, "See, I told you Croc was popular." Yeah, Croc was popular. Doesn't mean it was good. Look, I did like the suit though in the game. It did make me chuckle. But yeah, the Spider-Man's really cool. I felt they were like one of the biggest omissions in the base game. However, pardon me, I did assume it was at the hands of a licensing conversation. With Disney, obviously Disney and Insomniac, and then Asobi would have to communicate, and that would seem like a whole clusterfuck. But apparently not. As we saw 2 of them, which is great. Gex was a good throwback. I did play a bit of Gex on PS1 back in the day. Tombi I've never played, but I've heard
the last one you're missing is the Worm from.
Oh, and the Worm from Worms. That's right, of course, because I only counted to 6. Yeah, that did make me pop because like that was an interesting one to see. And Worms, interestingly, has quite a strong connection to PlayStation. In that they are all on PS Plus Deluxe, no Extra, whatever the middle one is, Extra. So and they were like the first ones to get really loaded onto the service. But the level itself is cool. I thought it was fun. Be able to cram all the different upgrades together and enjoy it. I am liking sort of this frequent coming back, giving a little bit more, never uninstalling it from my console, but then I'll come back in a couple weeks and there'll be something new. That sounds fun to me. Always a blast. Outside of that, I have been playing a couple things on the computer, on the PC. Let me just quickly pull up my my list of things.
You played that Indiana Jones?
Oh yes, that is correct. I did play Indiana Jones, but I only played it for like a little bit of the opening mission. Now the main reason being is my computer, when I booted it up, the game went, "Hey, you are running at medium because you don't have as much VRAM as you need." I'm like, that doesn't what? Okay, sure. Then I played it for a little bit, and I did, the opening tutorial. And so the opening, you would have seen this across social media, or at least discussed in many locations, because it is an interesting thing. The opening tutorial of Indiana Jones: The Great Circle is you doing essentially the temple run from the movies, in that it's where you go in, you grab the totem, and then you got to leg it and get out. So it's how it, you see the world in first person, you see how it's experienced, you see how much effort they've put into rendering Harrison Ford lookalike in the game, and because you kind of know what it's going to be based on the movies themselves, you can easily Temple of Doom. Thank you, Moot. What was that? Sorry.
After you said pardon me.
That's fine.
Noise gated the first part, but not the words.
So because it's an account that just based on playing the game, watching the movies. It makes it super easy to replicate, so then you can know what to do and just focus more on the mechanics it's teaching you. So it's very, very early impressions, but essentially I left going, I'm just going to wait till it comes to PS5. I want to play it. It looks really interesting. It looks pretty, even on like medium settings. But I'm playing on PS5.
I'm stunned that your computer had a hard time running it.
Me too. And then I tried to put it through like can I run it or whatever. But
will it run?
Will it run? But apparently the settings weren't in Will It Run. I'm like, okay. And then I tried to run it through the NVIDIA GeForce experience thingy on your computer, which you can optimize to the game. However, for whatever reason, it was like, nah, game doesn't exist on your computer. I'm like, bull fucking shit, it does. Just do it. And then it hasn't worked. I'll have a quick look now while we're chatting, to see if it's. Oh no, I uninstalled it. That's gonna be useless. Nice work, idiot. But yeah. So look, the game's fine. I'm very excited for it. Also, hey Sean in the chat. Sorry, I did miss you on that one. But I like machine games. I loved Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. This feels like another way to enjoy punching Nazis, because that's what machine games are really good at, apparently. Well, and they are. So yeah, you haven't jumped on it though, had you?
No, see, I'm not a Indiana Jones guy. I've never seen any of the movies. I just have no real interest in that IP. I guess.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Like, I admittedly, pardon me, I have seen.
Don't get me wrong. I love punching Nazis.
Oh, sorry. The Reverend Puck in the chat does confirm punching fascists, since the Italians weren't Nazis. Sure.
I love punching people as much as the next guy, but yeah, that is not enough of a draw to get me in.
Sorry, as I was saying, so I'm aware of, I believe I've watched Indiana Jones in the past, but I don't actively recall sitting down and watching all of them. Like, we watched the first one a couple months ago, actually, probably, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun. But, like, I can tell you all the major beats of, like, at least the trilogy, because they're so ingrained in popular culture, and I know I've seen them in parts. So I'm not like super in love with Indiana Jones as a franchise, but for me, I just wanted to see like, how is it different from Uncharted? Because Uncharted is straight up a redo of Indiana Jones, but in third person. I'm like, okay, well, first person. Have they chosen to use first person in this game purely to offset it from Uncharted? And the answer is no. It's because that's what machine games is good at, and at least in that small experience, like, it felt like in line with machine games. But yeah, I'll be waiting until the new year to properly sit down with it. We all know my weird love for sim games and odd sim games. A new one hit the inbox this week, Max.
Brothel Simulator 25.
No, because I would have told you about that one immediately. This one, the irony of this is not lost on me, because I fucking hate doing my laundry. But this one is... Are you Googling whether a brothel simulator exists?
Fucking oath I am. And the answer is yes. Yes, it does.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god. Do not...
I'm gonna put. Okay,
The autoplay video that instantly plays when you search for it on.
you need to explain this to us like
great.
it's some sort like we're visually impaired, and you need to tell us exactly
No,
what's happening on your screen. Do it. Do
I'm
it.
sorry,
Do
it's
it.
NSFW. I've already closed it. I literally opened it, went moop, and closed it.
What did you see?
Just Google it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
All right. Let's
Literally, brothel sim enter, and then it's just the top.
Brothel Simulator. It is on Steam.
Yep.
It's
And then click on that Steam link.
it's only
Click on that Steam
$10.
link. Click on that Steam link.
Oops,
that
sorry,
autoplay
an
video.
error incurred. Oh, I must log in. All right. Well, I'm not logged in on Steam. All right. Well, that's on the browsers. Let's log in on there. Store. I know this is riveting content, everyone. Hi, how you doing? Brothel Simulator. 14. Oh, dude, there's 2 of them. I'm gonna go to the second one. I feel they would have improved it from the second one. Oh my god, it's straight P and V. Dear God, they didn't bury the lead at all.
No, not at all.
Now there's like 2 people sitting on things, tongue bashing. Oh, but I get to pick the furniture though. That's good. There is just digital humping everywhere. Oh, cool! I can unlock different angles. Rad.
Yeah, thank you, Puck, for putting that in the chat. We appreciate the link.
Dude, there was a hard zoom on that smash just then. Jesus Christ. Oh, cool. Hey, don't worry though, Max. Don't worry. You can buy it in a multi-pack with Hard Rock Sex 3D and Sex Gym 3D, all for a bundle of $34. Save 35%. It's pretty sick.
Oh, Jesus.
Dear God. Why
I don't know
let
why
you
I
do
thought that wasn't going to exist. I don't know why I thought that wasn't going to exist when Steam exists.
Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at these reviews because this is important. Do not purchase this. It is a scam. It is not a simulator. The scenes are also fake. Spoilers, the game's entirely fake. Camera movement is horrible and the maximum resolution supported is 1080p. In other words, he couldn't pull his ween unhappy. A lot of thumbs up, though. Here we go. Some guy tried to install it and his computer yelled at him. Virus detected in installation, not a false positive. Okay, well, I can say comfortably that I have not been playing Brothel Simulator because Jesus Christ, was that something I don't know why I had to see. But what I have been playing, and the irony is not lost on me because I hate doing my laundry. But I received a code through Key. So I was going through Keymailer. So for those playing at home, Keymailer is a website where those that are content creators or part of the press, you can essentially see a list of games and you can put in your, essentially pitch for review code. I had just got another game from Playway, which was the distributor for this title. So I was like, yeah, sure. Oh, Laundry Store Simulator, why the hell not? It sounds right up the alley of like Gas Station Simulator and all the repetitive tasks. Well, the repetitive task enjoyment I get out of like something like Gas Station Simulator, right? Or was it Medieval Tavern Simulator, whatever it was, Tavern Manager Simulator. And it is pretty much exactly that, and I love it for that reason. You essentially run your own laundromat, as the name of the game suggests. Except you have to be involved in every step so far. At least I've not unlocked any staff or anything. So you got to put in the washing machine, and thankfully they're not like full hour and a half cycles like regular washing machines because I want to die. They're like 25 seconds, and depending on the quality of your machine, it's slightly better. And then you have the dryers, same approach. But then you have to then go and iron the item and then fold the item. And if you do any of these out of order, it's like, fuck you. You can't, iron something that's already been folded. So as you can imagine, it takes a little bit of time to rip through a number of loads hot. And then you can, like, I've been able to expand and open up a coin laundry in the room next door, so people can come in, do it all themselves. They just give me coins. That's pretty sweet. Upgraded a couple of things. Upgraded my washing machines and my dryers, so things are moving a little faster. I've expanded my range, so I've got a suit washing machine, so I'll be able to wash your suit and dry your suit, or dry clean your suit, essentially. Or able to choose the soap. No, you cannot choose. As of right now, I'm not able to choose the detergent, which I feel should be important, or whether you use fabric softener or not, because I'm very pro fabric softener personally. Then there are other options where the machines will break. You gotta wang them with a spanner to get them working again. But the beauty of the spanner, Max, because it can't be a sim game unless some of the AI just fucks with you for no reason. So in Gas Station Simulator, there was a little kid who would come and just like spray paint the walls. That happens here too. There's like, hey, someone's coming, and like, someone's coming as vandals here, and you go out the front, you gotta wang them with the spanner, and they'll fuck off. And then, but the closed sign has been sprayed on, so they know what no customers will come in. There's obviously people will come in and they'll tread dirt through the store, so you got to go sweep that up. But my favorite one, and it didn't quite hit me in the same as spraying people's stank off them in Trading Card Game Simulator.
Is it some arsehole putting like tissues in his pocket and just?
No, but there is a lint brush that you have to like remove cat hair and dog hair off someone's laundry before you wash it, or it fucks up the entire machine and then it'll just spread cat hair on everyone. It's exactly real life. That one's really scary. There is some, like, you get word of going, hey, someone is vomiting in the bathroom. And I was like, what? And I walked over there, opened the door. The person had fucked off at this point. But vom everywhere. On the floor, up the wall, on the roof. And I was like,
why does your laundry have a toilet?
Oh, it's a public toilet. I don't know. There's a toilet in there, I guess. And people go in there and smoke as well, which is insane. Just smoke outside like an idiot. But, yeah, the fact that it fucking, like, this person exploded vomit, I don't know, that tickled me really hard, because it's, out of all the things that I expected in my laundry store simulator experience, cleaning up some NPC's hardcore vom, not on the list. But I'm early days in the game, as I'm still just sort of tinkering with it, having been away this week, I've not been able to really properly sit down with it, but it ticks all the things that I wanted, all the things I liked within the experience. And I'm very happy with that. I'm curious to see how I can expand it, because looking at the in-game computer, which allows where all your expansions are, there's quite a number of additional rooms around my base laundry that I can extrapolate. So that's what I'm excited to see where it is and how bigger can I make it. But no, I'm really enjoying that. Outside of that, I have been playing more Call of Duty. I had a really good run the other morning. I don't know what happened. Like, it's just, normally I'm pretty trash, right? Pretty garbage. Somehow I ended
You play it Boxing Day and you'll think you are a god.
Oh, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Because all the Christmas kids will be getting it.
Mm.
And they'll, in theory, have no idea, and you'll have a slight advantage for about an hour or two.
Well, that's kind of the theory that I'm having, right? In that I'll play for like an hour before work, from like 8 to 9 p.m., 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And this is clearly when kids have that little bit of play in before they go to school, because I obliterate in the morning. Like, I finished a game the other day with a KD of like 6.
You're not playing against kids, mate. You're playing against the people who have stayed up all night and are about to leave for work.
Don't matter. That's fine by me too. Like, if these are two, like, if it's just other adults like me that have to go, they're getting their little play in before work, and I can stomp them, sweet. If it's kids, sweet. If it's people that are about to finish their all-nighters, sweet. I will take all those additional advantages. I ain't mad about it. I love it. And then, of course, similar to yourself, I have been playing some more Balatro. I got to the 8th Anthe. Oh, no, I didn't. I got to the final boss of the 7th Ante today. I finally had some win. And clearly I'm just fucking stupid, because it is genuinely frustrating me that I can't seem to get it. Now, when it comes to difficult games like your Soulsborns or whatever, I understand that there is a genuine skill curve that you need to know to be able to have the reaction times, etc., to really succeed in these games. However, I can't help but look at my time with Balatro, as much as I have loved it and really enjoyed playing it. But I'm now at a point after playing it, at least according to my PlayStation, like 25 something hours, and I'm still not to get through all 8 antis. I'm like, I know it's a word we shouldn't say anymore, but am I fucking retarded? Like,
Dude, I had such a killer run the other night.
You're not helping me. I appreciate you, and I'm very proud of you. Congratulations.
How do you play though? Like, how are you playing? How are
fucking dumb is the answer.
How are you running? Like what's your?
I feel like I just get like the most shittest RNG, and like because I've taken your advice.
Sometimes it happens. I get that.
I've taken your advice. Like I focus on tarot cards, or like if I start getting something beneficial, I'll run with it, and that's what allowed me to get to the end of the 7th. In this run, right? So I got a Joker that was like, every tarot you use, you get a bump. I'm like, sick. I'm gonna start ripping through tarots. And the other one was like, for every reroll, we increase your multi. I'm like, sick. So I'm just re-rolling even if I didn't really want it. And there was like, you straights can be one gap between. Sick. So I started running straights, right? And then there was one that was it was a holographic that was just simply plus X multiplier. Multiplier, and then because it was foil or hollow, it was like, and then an additional 1/5.
Yeah.
So like that was where I was able to get a really good run.
Yeah.
But then I just seem to be getting fucking the second it's almost like, I know it's not how the game works, but it feels like the second the game identifies that I'm kind of going okay,
total shelled.
It fucks me in the asshole immediately. But even then, right, and I think it's almost like the game fucking knows. Yeah, like earlier today, I skipped the first small blind and the second big blind because they were both, you get a free holographic Joker in the next one.
Yeah.
Like, brilliant deal. I then go into the big blind, pretty standard one, but I proceed to get feeded nothing but fucking garbage that I fail that level.
Yep.
It's like it identifies.
There's nothing worse than going than getting like on the first small blind. It's like, hey, match tag or duplicate tag, and then on the big blind.
What are those tags, by the way?
It'll be like holographic rare. So
okay, is that what the tags mean? Okay.
Instead of getting like one rare Joker or one rare holographic Joker, you get 2 free rare holographic Jokers.
Okay.
So sometimes you go big and then you're like, and you lose to the big blind straight away because you've skipped the first 2 rounds. Like it does depend. And like it is RNG to a degree. Like the run I had the other night, I locked out. The first Joker I got was DNA, and DNA is if your first hand of the round has only 1 card, you duplicate it and add it to your deck. And then I got a Joker that duplicates Jokers. So I was running 2 DNAs. I had like 50 to 60 aces in my deck that all had red seals. I was playing 5 of a kind aces every hand. They were just multiplying it. It was crazy. But I'll never get that again. Like it was just, yeah. It's rough. You can normally
and also for context, the deck that I'm using is you get an additional bump for how many hands and how many discards you have at the end.
Yeah, I think the one I was using this time was I think it was the Hex deck where you start with a spectral pack.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't get. Yeah, I have the bait because I suck so much asshole at this game. I'm not unlocking any other deck, so like I'm in this perpetual just eat shit feeling with this game, and I love it, and it's fine, but I genuinely feel mad. But like not, and like I understand the game is not smart enough to go, hey, fuck this guy in particular. I am just left feeling like I'm the dumbest person in the world. And like no slight to my mate Craig, because he has a much smarter brain when it comes to like playing tabletop and whatever, or even card games. He barely plays games at all, and he's like, "Hey, check it out! I won." I'm like, "Fuck you! I love you, Craig, but fuck you!" Like, it's just mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It has left me being pretty hateful at my own abilities, which is, shout out to the game, I suppose. But anyway, that's enough of me bitching and whinging about my inability to be good at a fucking basic-ass card game. Let's get in the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
Well, as we all know, the big news this week was Game Awards stuff, so I'll quickly run through the games coming to Extra and Premium this month. We have Sonic Frontiers PS5, PS4, Forspoken PS5, Rabbids Party of Legends PS4, WRC Generations PS5, PS4, Fist Forged in Shadows PS5, PS4, Jurassic World Evolution 2 PS5, PS4, Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk Episode 2 Hibiscus and Butterfly coming to PS5, PS4, A Space for the Unbound PS5, PS4, Vogs PS4, and Biped PS5, PS4. And for Premium, you get Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge PSVR 2.
Do we get the Sly Coopers?
Possibly. They weren't on the list that I saw.
Okay, well, there are some Sly Coopers in there, the PS2 ports, so presumably we should get them. But there's some reasonable ones in there. Look, Sonic Frontiers, I'll no doubt download for my son, because he apparently is Sonictism, so that's what he likes. Forspoken, I know I was okay on it, but you enjoyed it quite a bit.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, and Jurassic World Evolution 2 is awesome. It's like it's just Park Simulator, but with dinosaurs. It rules. Is there anything that stands out there for yourself?
No, you covered them all.
Yeah, and then of course getting Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge is sick. I'm very keen to play that. Watch out for those final levels on Frontiers, super hard. Yeah, I don't care about it enough to even like play it myself. I'll claim it so my son can play it, and then I'll never see it.
I'll claim it so Hadley can play. She's been wanting to play Sonic for ages.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's get into the game of award discussions. So I'm just going to rip through. I'm going to rip through the winners, and then we'll get into, and then I'll let you run the announcements.
Well, I was going to say before we get into that, what did you think of the show as a whole? As someone who watched it completely from, obviously you didn't watch it live. But,
no, because I was.
You watched it in its entirety. What did you think of what was the 10th anniversary Game Awards show?
This is by far one of the best Game Awards that I've experienced. All of the things that I have critiqued it for in the past, whether it be the ads, whether it be how Jeff presents, and his need, what seemed like his compulsive need to be involved in every single part of it, I feel that's changed. So there was a lot more like fill-in, like there's still him and that woman that does the pre-show, but like it felt like they were more comfortable in having some filler people kind of come in, which was cool, and that allowed him to have cool sort of very personal moments in like have Sam Lake getting to come out and do a really interesting Sam Lake doing an Alan Wake rip in his coming out to the nominations, having Aaron Paul and Laura Bailey was like a cringe ass Oscar banter. It was horrible. But yeah, like there was no like Gillette Man or whatever. Like it was, there were ad breaks, but even then they were mostly for like Lenovo and like Fortnite, and like there was no really jarring, obtuse marketer in there. And you go, why the fuck are you in there? But then
I literally said that out loud when Harrison Ford came out on stage.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the show, and I did think that too.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Because at one point it looked like he clearly couldn't read the teleprompter. He's just like, "Fuck it, this is happening now."
Yeah, it's like, I'm old, not paying attention. So yeah, like overall, like I did enjoy it a lot more for that reason. It felt like it was still 3 hours or whatever, and 4 hours including kick and pre-show. And that's like fine. I've watched longer wrestling shows before. The pace seemed really good. There was a section in the middle, I'm not the only person to communicate this as well, where they just threw a bunch of anime shit and that's where it dipped for a minute. But like, I'm talking about the announcement side of things now. So it started strong and it kept reasonably steady. And they're like, although there were games that didn't intrigue me, I could certainly see their appeal. And then a bunch of anime crap in the middle, and I was like, I'm gonna keep watching, but none of this sings to me, and I've no idea what the fuck any of this is. And they went, hey, here's something cool.
Well,
I'm like, yay!
I watched the whole show with Hadley.
How'd she go for it? Like, that's a long sit.
She sat through it all pretty well. The only thing she was like, Dad, come on, when is Astro Bot coming up? I'm like, Astro Bot will show up at some point. Like, there'll be some Astro Bot stuff. She's like, but yeah, but when? For her, Astro Bot was too few and far between.
Yeah.
But she got a kick out of it. She's like, oh, this game looks scary, Dad. I'm gonna close my eyes. It's like, actually, everything's like, hey, Dad, do you know what this game is? I'm like, not yet, dude. We're watching the same thing. I'll figure it out.
Then we'll find out. We'll find out in a moment.
She's like, you gonna play that game? I'm like, I hope so. She's like, can't play it when I'm 10. I'm like, we'll see.
Is 10 your age?
Apparently 10's her age. Every time I say she's too young, she's like, what about when I'm 10? I got two numbers then. Can play when I'm 10. Apparently she's gonna play Minecraft when she's 10.
She play it right now. Minecraft's fine.
She does not have the capabilities to play Minecraft right now. Oh. She barely Astro Bot. Like,
barely Astro Bot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it sounds like you're pretty positive on it too, which is good.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked with it. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, well, let's get into the
big winners.
Let's get into the winners. So I'll do the winners, and you can do all the announcements. Because I'll probably say a lot about the announcements because I'm opinionated. So we'll go from game of the year last. So for family game, best family game, the winner, correctly, Astro Bot. Now, Max, both your family and my family have been directly impacted, for lack of a better word, by the presence of Astro Bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I assume you.
My daughter got an Astro Bot t-shirt for her bedroom for her birthday.
She what? Sorry.
She got an Astro Bot t-shirt as an early birthday present. She's pretty stoked on. But yeah, cool. Best family game, sure.
Looking at that list, and there is no question, and I'll talk more about it. Actually, no, I'll hold my Astro Bot thoughts for later because it comes up a lot. Best action adventure game. Speaking of Astro Bot, that one was intriguing. Yeah. Certainly adventure, but to me, adventure is not that.
Well, see, adventure, I'm pretty sure has its own bloody.
Isn't it? Because I guess adventure to me seems like the point and click stuff, but they were called point and click adventure games.
So best adventure game is its own setting category. It's the word I'm fucking looking for. Dickhead.
But yeah, sure, why not? More Astro Bot. I agree.
Yeah, so the best action game went to Black Myth Wukong.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. And how come you've written best action/adventure?
Because action adventure is also a fucking category.
God, that's confusing.
Yes.
Oh, you've not listed every award. Okay, cool.
Correct. I have not listed every award.
Yeah, because I just noticed there was no esports, which is good because who fucking cares?
Well, it was League of Legends, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably. Best mobile game, Balatro. I love and both fucking hate that game. Best indie game, Balatro. Absolutely best pick. No doubt. On best ongoing game, Max. Helldivers 2.
Fun.
Like, as the person out of the two of us that spends more time playing these ongoing games, I couldn't speak to any of these.
Look, knowing that it was up against the likes of, I think it was Fortnite, Destiny, Diablo, and Final Fantasy Online.
Well, Final Fantasy Online is been going for great forever. Fortnite's having a bit of a kick with all its OG stuff.
Just launched a new expansion earlier this year.
Yep.
Destiny 2 does not deserve to win it. They've been,
but it could also have been like with the final shape. It could have been like here's an award for your entire run rather than the individual experience.
Diablo 4 also just dropped its new DLC.
The Vessel
Okay,
of
it's a pretty
Hatred.
good one. Yeah. Like Helldivers 2 was that big
It was huge though,
zeitgeist
like
game when it
objectively
came out in
huge of this year. And I guess the
yes.
only
And then,
releasing of this year, where all the others have been around forever.
yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
I can see that.
well, then how does it went ongoing? Because it's only been out this year and hasn't gone on yet.
What's
But
still?
does it really fit that category?
Well, no, because in terms of best supported, best ongoing, like ongoing implies, but even then, it's had nothing but shit.
It's awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content. It's just had a few weapons dropped every other month for the seasonal pass.
Yeah, and they've announced the new species or whatever.
They have announced the new species and they are out now, but that was after the cutoff date. Like, if you want to be a stickler about it, I would argue that Helldivers 2 has not been ongoing. It's just going at the moment.
So then who would have you given it to otherwise?
I think definitely not Fortnite. Fortnite can fuck off. Although the new Fortnite game mode's
Like
5v5
the
mode.
first person one.
Yeah, that's so good. I, probably Final Fantasy Diablo. Like I said, Destiny's like the last couple of years. Destiny's been a bit, yeah. Yeah, I mean the game's good. Helldivers is good. I'm not going to say that it's a bad game.
No, it's great. I've reinstalled it.
It's one of those. It's one of those words is written. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad it wasn't fucking Genshin Impact or some Hoyoverse motherfucking game. But yeah.
Hoyoverse motherfucking game.
You put in the chat, no GTA 5. GTA 5's kind of been in the same situation.
It's been shit for a while. It's been kind of shit for a while. Like, the reason
I'm just waiting for it to start snowing so I can fucking reload my snowball launcher.
Yeah.
I have a snowball launcher that cannot be used outside of fucking that week that it snows at Christmas.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, GTA is our seasonal game. It's the one that Max and I end up playing over Christmas for some reason, because just whatever. But years ago, GTA got into a position where, in order to fund anything, in order to do anything, like, it's so exorbitant that it's near impossible to come in as a new player. Like, hey, everyone's got fucking fighter jets and flying bikes and satellite missile things.
They actually onboard you pretty well these days. Because when I went to play the other night, it's like, you don't have an online character. Make a new one. I'm like, well, hang on, whoa. What do you mean make a new one? And it's like, just make a new one. You'll be fine. And then it's like, hey, do you want to load your like character likeness from your previous character? I'm like, so you do have my other character, you bastard. Like, just put me in as that. I don't want to have to play this opening tutorial mission again, you fuck. And then it's like, hey, here's $4 million to get you started.
$4 million is nothing.
I know. And then here's the kicker. It forces you to spend 3 of that $4 million straight away on buying like apartments or a business, or doesn't let you keep it. It's like, fucking spend it before we even let you play the game.
Yep. Now, don't get me wrong. I played GTA 5 when it first launched, and like the multiplayer, and I've been playing it on and off ever since. But like the second that I kind of checked out, I was never coming back properly, because there's now an in-game meta in that don't do these ones, do these ones, because that's where you get the most return. So the fun of it is lost, because the fun should be, I want to do like all the bikie missions. I want to do the heists. But then the game goes, if you want a return, you should probably do it over here. And then once they started involving the open world shit, where it's like, you can only do these missions in the open world with other players, and part of it is going to this location to collect cargo and then coming back without dying. But then at the same time, just in the fucking game, you step outside your apartment and you are bomb rushed. Like, you are fucking hellfire from the sky, just like full 18 jets dropping 48 nuclear missiles on you outside your building. It is literally impossible to do half the fucking things this game suggests. And even then, in order to then engage in the later stage events, you have no choice but to buy shark cards. Because it's like, oh, everyone's doing, like, I know I'm going back in time here. Like, oh, everyone's doing submarine things. I'm like, okay, how much is a submarine? $18 million. I'm like, huh? I have 6.
Well, they just this week they brought out a new thing, and you have to buy a textiles factory. And Cass was like, "Oh, I've got enough. I'll buy it." And everyone was like, "Cool," because none of us have the money to buy one.
How much was it?
It was like 2 point something mil.
Bill
And
or mil?
Mil. I just spent like 4.5 mil on a car the previous week.
Well,
so.
that seems really low.
Yeah, nothing's that as expensive as you think it is.
Well, because when they did like the bunker was dumb. That was like 8.
I don't know. I got my bunker for free because at the time, I like it was when Amazon Prime were doing their GTA stuff.
Yeah.
So like I was getting heaps of free shit and just like logging in monthly to get my free millions.
Look, yeah, like I am being a little hyperbolic, like absolutely, right? But it does feel that way. When then you do a couple races, and it's like you made $800. Like, cool. You check out this hover bike that just ran you over. It's worth $3 million.
Yep.
I'm like, cool. Well, my fucking $400 push bike. Let's go. Thumbs up. Yeah, it's, and the difficulty that they have now is heading into 6. They're gonna have to completely reboot the thing. So all this money and time people have spent will be gone. Because they can't transfer it all because that makes
telling you they won't. What they'll do is you'll go to the airport, you'll fly back to GTA 5 World.
Yeah, that's probably the only way about it, I guess. And then, yeah, it's like,
There'll be 2 maps. They already have it in the game at the moment because the KO Perico heist thing is on a completely different map.
That's true. It was too.
You have to fly there from the airport. They'll just fucking make a new map for GTA 6. You can fly in between, so you don't get the feeling of you've lost all your shit that you spent money on, but you just can't use it over in the new playground.
Yeah.
You want to go do all playground stuff? Go.
Well, which is good because then we can all start an even playing field again, and then I'll play for 2 months and then I'll forget.
You won't play for 1 weekend, and then all of a sudden everyone's in front of you.
Yeah, it's like when and then because you can't go and you can't do those world events in private sessions.
No.
So even if it's you and your mates, you can't. So it makes it just impossible. I wish I could love it, but I also hate it.
They changed the heist things to not be worldwide now, which is nice. You can do those.
No, but I mean like the cargo runs and stuff.
Yeah, I know. But the heist setups used to be you had to be in a public lobby. You don't have to be anymore. Good. They changed that.
Good.
There's nothing worse than like stealing the EMP and then having someone else jack you, and then you just like, no, you don't get it. Sorry.
Yeah, like all that time feels absolutely wasted and unfairly wasted. Next award, performance went to Melina Juergens, which does sound like a masturbation thing. For Senua 2 or Hellblade, Senua 2 Hellblade, whatever. They also won Best Audio Design. These two make sense. Now, I have not played either. I've not played 2. I played 1, never played 2. I loved 1. Her performance in 1 was exceptional. The sound design was exceptional in 1. I can't fucking speak to this at all. It does feel like an easy win, but that's without me knowing and or playing the game.
Yeah, I haven't played it either, actually.
Yeah. Best score in music went to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Oh, duh.
Yep.
Can you want to expand on that?
That was great. It was just great. The Final Fantasy's always had a great score.
Because I would argue that the music for Astro Bot I found it had a large range. I felt like it was tonally very kind of different. It was a full spectrum of genres.
It's a full spectrum. I don't think was Astro Bot even listed for score? Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. No, I think the 2 RPG games had the foot in for this one. I think it was either going to go to Final Fantasy or Fantasio. Like Astro Bot was cool, but the game, I don't think it added any immersion to the game comparatively to what it did for Final Fantasy. Like it definitely added to that emotional depth of character and design through music.
Or in the chat, Mute mentions, but they bought the Dragon Infinite, the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth
Infinite
soundtrack.
Wealth was stellar, and it didn't even get nominated, which was just absolutely appalling.
So this is lump couple together. So best art direction and narrative. So two different awards, not the same one, like action/adventure that we got confused on before. Both went to Metaphor ReFantazio.
Correct. Perfect.
I would narrative I can't speak to, but art direction I can understand. Very similar to Persona, like they have built.
I think Persona snagged it too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Persona 5, without a doubt, one art direction, like because it was
Art
awesome.
direction. Yeah.
So I can only, like I said, from my limited experience with Metaphor, I'm like, yep, cool, I get it. Because it's all about like the whole idea of art direction. It's the collective piece. It's all the pieces coming together to create one through artistic experience. And I feel that Atlas kind of have that nailed, really.
Yeah. And as for narrative, I mean, if you look at any review for Metaphor ReFantazio, the biggest selling point has been the narrative and the story that it's telling. The growth of the characters in the game, how they evolve as time passes, literally inside the game. I mean, it was up against Infinite Wealth and Hellblade 2. Both. Well, again, I haven't played Hellblade 2, but from what I've heard, both very strong narratively driven stories, narratively driven games. Sorry, but yeah, Metaphor is just on a whole nother level.
Player's choice. Now, Jeff Keighley did stress that this was voted by the gaming worldwide, which makes sense why Black Myth Wukong won, because all the Chinese people that bought it probably voted for it. So numbers advantage. That sounds racist, but it wasn't intended to be.
You say that like their internet's not like horrendously locked down and they can't even access most public domain websites.
True, but if anyone that cares would just find a way. There's always a way. But like I say that I haven't experienced the game, haven't played it. It's just in the same way of it being the best-selling game of the year because just purely numbers, which makes sense. That's how fucking finance works. But yeah, interesting. Because, I haven't heard, especially here in, the Western side of things. Like, Black Myth had a pop, and then it
only
died.
physically released 3 days ago here.
Yeah. Game of the year, potentially. All right. And then we talked about, art direction, the idea of all the visual and its feel coming together. Game direction, because I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were like, what does best game direction mean? And they were really perplexed by it. I'm like, well, no, it's the message, right? It's all of it coming together. It's each of the pieces, the music, the sound, the gameplay, the graphics, every little thing coming together to be one cohesive experience. And that's why with experiences like Death Stranding or anything with Kojima or anything with like Joseph Fares, whether it be with Hazelight, there is a clear through plan where everything comes together. Nothing feels disjointed. Nothing feels odd. It all feels like it should be there, and it builds to something bigger. Which, in that thought, it does not surprise me. Makes me very happy, in fact, that Astro Bot was the winner of Best Dress Direction. Because I would believe, in my opinion, that if you want a full cohesive experience, every part of Astro Bot is awesome. Visuals, awesome. Audio, awesome. Music, awesome. Gameplay, awesome. Everything, awesome. Agree?
Mm-hmm.
Good, because it's Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a question. So for me, and this is kind of bearing the lead for our game of the year discussion a little bit later. But my personal subjective experience puts Astro Bot as my game of the year. In the same way that Ragnarok was my game of the year, but because how it connected to me personally. I loved Astro Bot in how it showed and gave this love letter once again to PlayStation's history. And then, of course, be able to experience it with my son and his love of it, and then we've been able to connect because of it. And he just had his birthday party, and it was an Astro Bot Cuphead themed birthday party. He had an Astro Bot cake. He had Astro Bot plates and cups, and all of it. Like it was all blue and like that game. And like he got balloons and banners and plushies and all these different things that are all within the Astro Bot world. And as I mentioned, for all the parts that make it awesome, it makes complete sense why it should be. My only question is why the fucking hoo-ha about having to get a DLC in there for Elden Ring to not win a fucking thing.
Because again, there wasn't a hoo-ha. They were just reiterating the point that it's
I
always
meant the wider hoo-ha, by the way.
Because everyone's like, well, this is bullshit. They've made it for this. And everyone was like, well, no, this has always been the case. There's just never been a DLC good enough to be nominated for Game of the Year. It wasn't we want this game to win, therefore we're changing the rules.
But it did feel that way.
Moving the goalpost. No, it felt that way because no one actually had ever bothered to look because it had never come up.
Like, yeah, if it had been a conversation last year, they'd be like, oh, we'll look, because it makes sense. They're like, oh, you probably should just do this.
Personally, the biggest upset for me was the fact that Arcane didn't win fucking best adaptation. It went to fucking Fallout.
But look, yeah, I watched Fallout. I thought it was really good. I don't think it was the best adaptation. And from what I've seen, like the clips, etc., I've seen of Arcane looks fucking incredible. Yeah. So I guess from an award side, how do you feel about how this all went down?
I am surprised that Astro Bot won Game of the Year.
Why is that?
Look, I'm not saying that it's not a fantastically designed game and all of that stuff. Like it certainly is. But, it was also up there with, from a review critiqued, scored standpoint, it is up there with the likes of Metaphor and Elden Ring. They all shared the same Metacritic score. It's one of those things of, it begs the question of, it doesn't need to be this long-winded game. It can be this short, self-contained thing. I honestly thought it was going to go to Metaphor. I thought Metaphor had it in the bag. Stoked that Astro Bot won. The game is phenomenal. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Obviously, we aren't super objective with our choice of Game of the Year. Our Game of the Year is our favorite game that we played that year, or the best experience we had with a game that year, as opposed to just the best designed. We don't really Astro Bot.
It comes into play, but it's all through the look of our personal experience.
Yeah, Astro Bot could have looked like a hot mess, but because of the experience you had with your kid with it, it was Game of the Year. It could look like
not true. I've played a lot of Sonic Team Racing this year with my son, and that game sucks asshole. So just because my son loves it doesn't make it easier.
Sorry. All right, calm down.
And Hello Neighbor, not that good. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things. But GG to Sony for bagging another Game of the Year. Hopefully that means Team Asobi's gonna stick around.
Yeah, my hope is this means they'll make more merch and shit. That's what I want. But look, I understand where you're coming from, and
you know what this means though? They need to add more shit because I want my Game of the Year edition with bonus content.
Yeah, I want more. I want figures. I want shirts. I want plushies. I want everything, and not shit that we bought off fucking Temu. I want proper branded stuff. So look, I see where you're coming from, and I don't disagree with you. I do feel that, as we mentioned earlier with the best ongoing, why wasn't it given to Destiny as more of a demonstration of their 10 years of effort? It's what it's that, when Leonardo DiCaprio won his Oscar, it was not just for the Revenant, because it was really good, but it was also his entire career. So with that in mind, as much as I adore and I love Astro Bot, I kind of think it winning is more of, as you highlighted, a demonstration of it as a game in what it represented, not the game itself. It represented a throwback to games we all grew up with, games that made us feel happy and joy and were just a fun experience. I do, and because it's so dripping in nostalgia and various IPs and like properties, pardon me, that we all get excited for, it does taint that experience in a positive light.
Yeah.
And I think that has certainly come into play with it winning. Once again, I thought it was great. I don't disagree with it. However, if I was to like zoom out, because I was absolutely on the side of, I reckon Elden Ring's going to win.
I never thought
No, I was pretty confident. Because I thought all the reasons that I just listed as to why I think it won, I originally had thought all those reasons are why it would lose. Because especially with external pressures from the larger gaming community and their distrust and what has grown to a disdain in games media and games coverage.
If that's the case, then Black Myth should have won it.
Why?
Because it was a game that, I mean, if you just look at, despite the fact
is
that
it objectively a better experience than anything else on that list?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Having not played it, I don't know. But it's one of those things of like, you know, you saw articles at the start of the year from certain publications of like, you know, this game's not good, it's not diverse, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, it doesn't do this, and then right up to the lead up of Game of the Year awards, that same publication's like, here are the reasons why this deserves Game of the Year. Yeah, and it's like, well, what side of the fence are you fucking sitting on?
That's because they're pandering to the audience.
But it's one of those things of like, you know, it had that massive, you know, pop culture movement when it launched. Yes, it didn't launch in a perfect state like a lot of games don't these days. But it was one of those things that it completely dominated its area for its window of time. And it's one of those, I guess it's one of those things that is a little bit too niche to a degree, because everyone's like, oh, it's not going to win. It's the same reason why Hogwarts Legacy didn't win.
Oh yeah,
that game objectively was fucking fantastic.
It should have.
It was the best-selling game of that year. Didn't even get nominated.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Like, it should have been nominated, but that is what I'm saying. That is the individuals that are within the Like, this sounds conspiratorial as shit, but the individuals that are responsible for the nominations or building the nomination list, they're like, oh, we can't vote for Hogwarts. Like, we will get murdered. In the same way that's how I thought they were like, no, we can't. Like, Black Myth needs to be nominated because it is objectively the best-selling game of the year. However, it's not the best game of the year, but like that's in there because we would be murdered if we didn't. However, I thought by them going, well, we're going to go the game that sings to our hearts, and just, you know, essentially reaffirms the Sony bias, quote unquote, or the Sony bump, that everyone bitches and whinges about. So, yeah, once again, I feel like there's that pressure, whether it predominantly incorrect, you know, because the gamers TM, it's horrible. But yeah, that's. I think I'm talking myself in circles now. But yeah, I'm with you. I thought it was going to go another way. I really thought it was going to be Elden Ring, just because as far as my understanding is that DLC is incredible.
Oh, it is, and it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was one of those. But it's in the same boat. Could you imagine that maybe they were like, maybe it was originally going to be their game of the year, and then they saw the fucking outrage. Everyone was like, oh, it's a fucking DLC. You've changed the rules just to fit it in. And they're like, oh shit, we can't let this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like maybe that's what changed. They went, well, with the nominations, they're like, well, I'm going to change my vote because that's not happening.
should we talk some of the announcements? That
Yeah,
happened?
let's get into the announcements.
These are obviously all out of order. Because I did not write them down at time.
Yeah, we wrote them in level of awesome, I guess.
All right, let's just kick things off with the big one. Let's do it.
Yep, let's go.
Naughty Dog
Yeah.
are finally making a game and releasing a game that is not a fucking Last of Us.
I thought you were gonna bury the lead and be like, Naughty Dog.
Coming to PC.
Last of Us coming to PC. Yeah.
No,
Which it is, by the way. Last of Us Part 2 coming to PC.
It is. Let's go whole hog. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. That's it. It's Naughty Dog's new IP.
So the game itself, like it's there's a lot of 80s influence. You're driving a spaceship that used to be a Porsche. You're rocking Adidas sneaks. The soda, the soft drink that she's drinking is a company that's in Last of Us. Macho or something, whatever it was. The girl looks like Lev from Last of Us Part 2.
They have a fucking Sony music playing as a radio.
Yeah, it's all like Sony, like old Sony tech, and it has that real 80s vision of the future in like very Alien, very Star Wars, like everything's a CRT.
It's Peter Quill, Guardians of the Galaxy,
but with CDs instead of tape cassettes. I did pop at it's like 90s future, which I really liked because like 80s future's been and done.
It's Discman, not Walkman.
Yeah, exactly. And that I like because I kind of like CDs are cool. I like CDs. Little details as well at the end of what was just kind of an exposition dump. In a nice way, just kind of set the scene. There was a good panning shot of like a crazy serial killer board. Not really, but like pictures and news clippings and all these things coming together. And then it went to establish that there's a person that they're trying to find or target. And I'm pretty sure that individual is Kumail Nanjiani. Not him actually, because that'd be weird, but he is the actor, is playing that character, because that image looks exactly like him. And then which then leads to a scene or a snippet of clips of a fight between the woman and a robot, and she pumps out this big laser sword, but it's more like a chainsaw from 40K, but the blade part looks to be equalizer sound like bar, which I like. Like that popped me immediately. I am keen for this because it looks interesting. It looks intriguing. And I know there's always been the potential of Naughty Dog to go down a space route, especially with the love and focus within like Ellie as a character on space. So they've been kind of leading to it and sort of drip feeding it. I'm just excited to see what Naughty Dog are doing that isn't Last of Us.
Yeah, it's nice to see them doing something.
So, how about yourself? Looking at the trailer, like what parts are sung to you, what did, what didn't?
I'm really not a sci-fi guy. I don't know. I'll have to look at
okay.
I'm really not a sci-fi guy. So unless the gameplay really hooks me, this may not be for me. I mean, I'll play it purely because I want to see what they're going to do next. Yeah. Naughty Dog do tell quite the great tale, but yeah.
It does feel like
it's not the setting I like to play in.
Yeah, it does feel like that they've tried to do what Concord tried to do.
Yep. And
that Concord tried to create this real 80s sort of feel. No. I know the next game you're about to talk about though. That's a Max game.
Yeah. I think it was last week. CD Projekt Red came out and like, hey, we are in full development for The Witcher 4. And then Game Awards rocked up and they're like, hey, here's a fucking trailer. Prepare to be waiting like 8 years for this bad boy.
Oh yeah, that bitch is 2026 at the earliest.
So it's no gameplay footage, all FMV, whatever the FMV
cinematic
is. Cinematic, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Looks like some poor lady's getting married for sacrifice. Series like, I'm having none of this.
Oh no!
We all knew that Jerry has He's retired. He's no more.
Is there a tie
Much,
C where
much,
like he
much,
gives her
much
a
like,
sword and stuff?
yeah, much like his Netflix counterpart. He's retired. There's been a change of roles. And instead of
It's been
getting
redistributed.
Instead of getting Australian Jezza, we are getting Siri, the next logical thing. They're gonna have a lot of answers to do because the lore of that game clearly states that girls cannot be witches, and that only like 3 out of 10 boys survive the witch transformation.
Uh, isn't
She
her
is.
like in my
She
memory
does
of?
have elder blood. She does have
Thank you.
elder blood,
Yeah.
so that that could play part. She's wearing a medallion of the lynx.
Is that
So
is that the
she's
same
from
as?
from a different school as Jerry. So that'll
Intriguing.
be interesting. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. She's obviously way fucking older than she was in Witcher 3.
Yeah, she can't. She looks like she's seen some shit.
She's definitely seen some shit. But yeah, it looks good. I'm excited. It's years away. My daughter might be 10 by that time. She'll be able to play it.
Look, yeah, I'm in a similar space to you. Like as you're like not a sci-fi guy, I'm not a high fantasy guy. So I looked at this trailer and I said, from sitting back, looking at it and going, this does look really cool. It like there were moments where I'm like, that looks fucking real. That was really bizarre. The monsters look like Witcher monsters. She moves like a Witcher, like you know, like Jerry did, like old Geralt did in 3. It was a little on the nose at the end of the trailer. It's like, you know, monsters come in many forms. I'm like, boo. Boo, that could have been better. Boo.
It's me.
Yeah, it's like fucking serious. She's like, and then eats everyone. That'd be sick. But
Doppelganger.
yeah, it's not been a Witcher the whole time. It's a whole fake. Yeah, I'm intrigued. Will I play it? Probably not. Because I've got to play 3 first. Or watch the TV series, or do anything with The Witcher, really.
Yeah.
But
The TV series is good, but I do not have high hopes for fucking. I can't believe it's not. I can't believe it's not Chris.
but I can't, the other Ramel.
Not the other one though.
Yeah, not the one, not the other one that we're okay with. That's so mean to him. I'm sure he'll do
Pull
fine.
him. He won't. I've seen photos. He won't.
So, look, I know we're going to touch into some interesting topic, but the larger commentary around this game already is like, fucking witches gone woke. Thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't.
No.
They're using a character that is well established in the game.
Yep.
Yep.
So, if anything, does it demonstrate that how many of these people are in fact grifters and have never played this game in their life?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Speaking of a game that I'm never going to play in my life, but I'm sure you'll get us all stoked about.
I mean, I don't know. Elden Ring Nightreign is a spin-off of Elden Ring filled with co-op nonsense. Yeah. So a lot more information has dropped about this since the Game Awards show. Looked like whatever embargo was there.
Yeah, it was clearly like clear preview. But
yeah,
shout out to everyone for not saying a fucking thing.
Yeah. It turns out like this was, if you did any sleuthing whatsoever, Elden Ring Nightreign was like trademarked about a month ago, and websites went up for it. So the information was there, but it's not DLC. It's a standalone spin-off game where it plays nothing like Elden Ring. You don't pick up weapons or anything like that. You play as a predetermined class,
like hero shooter almost.
Yes, like with set weapons, set skills, set abilities. It's my understanding. Picture a battle royale map where it constantly shrinks on a day-to-day basis.
The game's in a 3-day cycle, was it?
3-day cycle. So every night you verse a Night Lord, I think they refer to it as, which is like a big boss. The trailer indicated that it's not in Limgrave, but a separate area, or like a reimagined area. It's also got bosses from the Dark Souls series, not just Elden Ring. You saw
So wasn't
the
there
nameless.
was it
You
Dark
saw the
Souls
nameless
3 that
king who
had
was
a...
riding that fucking dragon with his big spear.
So in Dark
Um,
Souls 3 there was one of the DLCs was like essentially like a Tower of Sisyphus, but like just bosses from every fucking Dark Souls ever. It's like a big warp tunnel, like a big
maybe.
warp
I
vortex or
don't recall.
something.
I don't recall.
Cool, I may have just made it up then. It's very
Um,
possible. So
yeah.
like,
So I'm not sure on this yet.
yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like it should be the most max fucking thing in the world.
Because from what I've seen, the day cycles are 15 minutes, so it's 45 minutes to an hour run. You're done. So yeah, I need to. I'll be back. You talk. I need to do something real quick.
No worries. Look, so I look at this and I go, it's more Elden Ring. Okay, cool. Um, what I find very interesting is that we've also just swapped sides because Max has turned his screen off. It's best get out of here. Get out of here, mate. How do I get rid of you? Oh, I don't remember the buttons. Yeah, it'll go away in a minute. Sorry. The game is essentially an asset flip, right? Which is not a bad thing. Because they've spent so much time and effort making the world of, what was it, Limgrave, that Max just called it a moment ago. However, under any other circumstance, this game would have been ripped apart for it. In the same way that Ragnarok was a standalone kind of expansion that grew into a full game. They're like, oh, it's the same boat animations. Says everyone that's watching it. But yeah, it's just funny how the opinions alter. Now, as Max is currently not back, I don't want to run into like the next things. Mostly just because I'm sure those things he probably has a lot more to say about than I do. But yeah, like I'll probably touch more on Witcher 4, etc. Yeah, the trailer itself is really cool for Witcher 4. Once again, hi everyone, talking Max here. Talk about the old things. Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah. So Intergalactic does catch my attention. I fear that I know I mentioned this a lot in this conversation about like the public perception, but I think that plays a much larger role in games these days than they ever have. In that Naughty Dog got kind of reamed really hard for Last of Us Part 2. And that then had a rolling impact on the studio itself. And it's also what's heading into this game. Because even the idea of them having a female lead and a sort of masculine presenting strong woman female lead, I can assure you it's already been a trigger for a bunch of people. And after everything that Naughty Dog has experienced and faced, they have done this intentionally. And shout out to them. I like that kind of balls to be like, no, we wanted to tell this. This is the story we want to tell. It's what the person want to look like. And there's a lot of imagery that I can't speak to entirely outside of what I've like seen and heard, because I'm not a big anime guy. But there's a lot of reference and connection to, what was it, Cowboy Bebop and Akira, which are, things I've never seen or watched. But I did, excuse me, after seeing Bebop on the screen, and then the character going and picking up the red jacket, I'm like, that looks like an Akira jacket. Like, I'm not even an Akira fan. I can tell it looks like an Akira jacket. Mute in the chat says, well, Bebop, which is good. Once again, I'm happy to be like fed more knowledge around Deep. I just don't know. The brand inclusion makes sense. 80s were was completely just packed full of product placement. And I think they're kind of telling the story of in the way that The Last of Us is a story of a particular time, place, but in a new key moment of time, where it became a post-apocalyptic hellscape instead of the world that we know it now. Part of me thinks that Intergalactic might be doing the same, in that by having brands that we recognize, things that we know, and they talk about in an ancient proverb from 1986, which tells me that this is set in the future, but there's been a key moment of change that has kept us technologically in that time frame, but has gone on from there. You all good, Max?
Yep. All good.
Did you just have to poo really bad?
No.
Oh. It's way less exciting.
Oh, I wish that was my excuse.
No. All right. Cool. Well, I did jump on to the next one. I went back and had a bit more of a chat about Intergalactic, just in case we're all on the thing. So, keep it going.
Yeah. So going back to Elden Ring, Nightreign. It's just it seems like a weird genre shift. Like, it can still be played single player, but it's single player offline or 3-player online. You can't. There's no 2-player. It's 1 or 3.
So you're gonna have to play with friends or randos.
Yeah. Well, you can play it solo, but
you can do it solo. Okay, cool.
It's solo or 3-player. It's not 1 to 3. It's solo or 3.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine, I guess. But yeah, it'll be one of those things of you'll have to work out which classes work well together because of their predetermined nature, and everything's randomized in every time you play it, so you'll be versing different monsters and all that stuff. It sounds intriguing. It's just not the direction I thought that would take Elden Ring.
I like the idea of the day-night cycle, and even though the fart cloud of control that we see in Fortnite or Warzone or Apex or whatever, I like how it leads you to a location, which then which forces you to fight the boss. So, because my question was, how are they going to integrate the world of Elden Ring, the world of Elden Ring, or the gameplay of Elden Ring in an open world setting, like in terms of a co-op open world setting? Where is it a circumstance of you just got to find big ass bosses throughout the world, like the game, like Elden Ring does, and you tackle them as an individual? But how does that work in because it clearly read like a battle royale. So I'm like, okay, so is it just you survive the longest against the big bosses? But then they hit the co-op. I'm like, oh, okay. How's that going to work? But I like the idea of you jump. I assume you drop in, and then the game will be like, funneling you here, and that part of the map is where these bosses are. So you can go, oh shit, okay, we're gonna think about what we're gonna do to get to this.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just it'll be different. It'll be interesting. So we'll have to wait and see how they're gonna deal with that.
Next one.
Okami. Okami 2. So I believe the original director for the first game has come back.
That is correct, yes. He's an individual that hasn't been around in a little while.
I think it's his new studio. I think he has a new studio that's working on it.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Now, give me 2 seconds. Because I want to grab the dude's name. Hi, pregnant pause. So this was published.
It's Hideki Kamiya.
That's it, Kamiya. Yeah, thank you. So I believe is he the one that went and did Platinum?
No.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't think so.
Who founded Platinum Games?
He went to
Hideki Kamiya.
Yeah.
So he was previously working with Capcom, and then for whatever reason he bounced, kind of left it for dead, went and made Platinum. Now Platinum's kind of not what it once was. He's left Platinum, so there's something that brought him back, And I have only ever seen Okami. I've played it a little bit, but never completely. But visually, holy shit, the game is incredible.
So Kamiya's notable works are Resident Evil 2, Devil
That's
May
right.
Cry, Okami, Bayonetta, and The Wonderful 101. So yeah, he started at Capcom, then went to Clover Studio for a few years, then did Platinum Games from 2006 to 2023, and now he's over at Clover's, which I think is his...
Yeah, it's an independent studio. So with the first game being called Clover, this is now Clover's.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
And in December 2024, it was announced he had formed an independent studio named Clover's, with their first project being a sequel to Okami at Capcom.
I feel Okami's like right up your dealio, eh?
Never played it.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know why.
All right, we might. In the same way with like Kingdom Come. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure this is Okami. This is not coming out for fucking years, so we can probably wait. But it might be worth messing about in.
It came out in 2006. What was I doing in 2006?
We were in year 11. Wait, you're a year younger than me, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You're in year 10.
Oh, so who knows? Oh, I just moved out of home then.
Yeah, you didn't have time for Okami.
I had no money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up was Project Robot from the Ico guys.
You did skip one actually. You skipped Onimusha.
I did skip Onimusha. Onimusha's back. Wave of the Sword. Onimusha hasn't been out for like 30-something years. What feels like 30 million years. When was the last Onimusha game?
And it was that was the side scroller, yeah?
If it came out 30 years ago, I'm going to say yes. No, Onimusha Warlords was in 2001, so it's been like 20-something years. But yeah, it's cool. Onimusha's back. A lot of old franchises are getting
Yeah, like, I think that's probably why Game Awards felt good, was because there was a lot of love for older things that are coming back, which is not good. In that, hey, more remakes, hey, more sequels. But thankfully,
I would prefer more sequels than more remakes. But you know,
yeah, it's true. But we still, as Mute in the chat says, they still won't give us Dino Crisis.
Hey, we got Turok, man.
Yeah.
We got Turok.
Well, did you want to touch on Onimusha, or do you want to just jump to Turok now?
No, we can jump to Turok. Where's Turok? I'm on Turok Origins. Stuff. I don't remember much of this one.
So this one was interesting. So it starts off with like through a forest or a raid forest. A dude's legging it with an axe on his hip. You see dinos. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, that's right. I thought this was the new Ark game.
Yeah, it does. It did look very Ark.
And then it wasn't Vin Diesel. I'm like, maybe it's not.
Well, no, so I went the other way. I'm like, is this Turok? And then it showed the people, and then they got like their scaly suits or whatever, like Iron Man. I'm like, oh, this can't be Turok. I'm like, then is it Ark?
Yeah, see, it was the other way from him. I'm like, is this Ark? And then I saw the man. I'm like, no, that's not Vin Diesel.
So the lack of Vinny D.
The lack of Vinny D meant something else.
Yeah. So like I said, Turok had a lot more of a run on 64 from memory, which I never had. So I never played the old Turok games.
I think it's got pardon me. Oh, I think it's called third person now.
Yeah, it does appear that way. So that's interesting. Man, we are fucking taking our sweet time this one, eh? All right, cool. Project Robot
from the Ico guys. So the trailer kind of looked like, I'm like, oh, is this a future Shadow of the Colossus? Am I climbing a big ass Colossus that I'm going to get inside? And then he flew away in its head. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not.
Yeah, because when they were like from the team that made like Ico and
Ico, the Last Guardian.
Yeah, Last Guardian and Cost. I'm like, okay, they're going to climb big things. And
which
then
is exactly what he did.
Yeah, sure enough, climbed big things.
And then he flew away and fucked off. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know what this is.
Look, I've never played Eco, just whatever reason.
I've played Eco and Shadow. I haven't played Last Guardian.
So I played Shadow and Last Guardian. Last Guardian was kind of crap. I didn't really like it. Shadow of the Colossus was really good. I didn't finish it. I got to like the 15th or the 16th or whatever, and then I got distracted and sort of wandered off. So I could just go download it now and play it for like 20 minutes and finish it. But you know, in classic Betson style, I didn't. So I can understand the interest in having this happen, but for me, I'm like,
For what was my trailer of the show, Split Fiction.
so this is
Joseph
the
Perez.
new from Hazelight.
Yep. So Joseph Perez came out way earlier in the show than I anticipated.
Yeah, they normally load him at the back end. Maybe it's just
And
they don't
then-
want to get him too crazy this time.
and then swore at a bunch of people, and he's like, "Fucking check out my shit. This could be the best." And I'm like, "That is the best."
That's true. With his 2 kids, I did love that.
Yeah.
So in the chat, it
I think
highlights it.
I think the characters
Are
the
named
two
after his
characters are
daughters.
named after his children. Yeah. So my wife and I have got something to play next year.
So for those that may not have missed it, give it the quick 5-second elevator pitch. What's Split Fiction?
Split Fiction is a two-player cooperative game, must be played 2 players, where the characters are writers. They are working for what appears to be Activision and Bobby Kotick. And the company can bring
I
their
was
stories
drinking,
to life. Their stories the company can bring their stories to life. They both get thrown in the same pod by accident, and boom, Split Fiction, sci-fi fantasy.
And it seems to like drift between the two.
Yeah, so every level will alternate between sci-fi and high fantasy.
So this will be both. Well, we need to play this together because
I'm playing it with my wife.
we will both. Oh, no, we can play it again. That's fine. We'll both love it and hate it.
So it looks amazing. Hazelight do such amazing stuff with their cooperative gameplay. I cannot wait much. 6th is when this drops. Right after
Good turnaround too.
Right after the clusterfuck that is February.
But like this,
and I'm calling it now. It's going to be my game of the year next year. Unless it's absolutely fucking horrendous, which I don't think it's going to be. It will be my game of the year next year.
But I do love this 3. Like once again, we talked about Intergalactic a moment ago, or Wish to Fall. That's just coming out in like a decade. Where to have Hazelight go, it's here in 4 months.
Well, to be fair, they've been working on it presumably since It Takes Two was out, which was 2021.
Well, yeah, in a pre-production, it would have been, let's say, 2020, right? Like, give another year plus on top of that, whereas they built it all up, and then obviously active development once It Takes Two wrapped up. Yeah, and I'm keen as shit. Like, I'm also keen to go play It Takes Two. Hey, and It Takes Two on sale right now?
It's a fucking PlayStation Plus monthly game, you piece of shit.
Even better.
It's free.
Which means I'll download it and I'll play it with my partner.
Do it.
And then we'll probably play Split Fiction 2. So this next one, Crimson Desert. What's a Crimson Desert?
Crimson Desert. It's a big MMORPG
that
is coming to console. It's been shown for like the last 2-ish years. It's coming. It's coming next year, apparently. At the back end.
Are you intrigued in this one? Is it why it's on the list?
Yeah, I mean it's on the list because it was an announcement. But yeah, I'll check it out. I'm a sucker for an MMORPG.
Well, yeah, you have it announced. You have put not everything's on the list. This is everything that's coming to PlayStation.
It depends on whether it's one of those pay to play, pay once to play, free to play shenanigans. It depends on how it's monetized, I guess.
Yeah, because
it does look mint.
There are very limited. What are they called?
There's
MMOs on PlayStation on consoles that are free.
I have only so much time in my day too.
That is also a big part. Look, if there's one thing that I had learned, and I know it didn't make the list. I think it did. Either way, I spent a big hunk of my time watching the Game Awards here, going, "That looks awesome. I'm not going to play it." Or the one from the Payday team, I'm like, "That looks sick." I don't have 3 friends to play with. And like it's very much me going, ooh, because even when they were like, "Here's Lego Fortnite," I was like, "Oh, this is way better than I thought it was. This looks awesome. This looks like the perfect Lego game." I'm not gonna play it.
Play with champs, it's good fun.
Which I absolutely should fucking love it. I think it would tick all my boxes. So I just thought it was Lego Battle Royale. I thought it was just Fortnite Battle Royale, but with Lego.
No, not at all.
That's awesome.
It's Minecraft. Next up, we had Rematch from the Sifu Boys.
This I like, mostly because they showed up and I was like, Oh, the team from Sifu. Sick. What cool martial arts are they? No, it's soccer.
Kung Fu Soccer. That's not Kung Fu Soccer at all.
No, it was not. So I assume in that, what's that? There's that game, Octodad, where you get to control every single limb. Like, I'd imagine that's kind of like, how do you make a soccer game into that next leap? Like that next extra layer of difficulty or unnecessary complication, because that's what like Sifu did feel like sometimes. And it has to be the answer, right?
Maybe.
You enjoyed Sifu.
I was Sifu friendly.
Sifu.
I never really
Sifu curious.
I never really finished it.
I couldn't. I got like reamed after. I had like one run that was like awesome, and I made it like deeper into it, and then I got monstered, and I was like, I don't want to run those same 3 levels again, so go away.
Yeah. We had Screamer, which seems to be a new racing game from someone. Looked a little fast and furious.
It did. Like, so my first reaction when I saw it wasn't so I was like, it seemed like recognizable because the game had like a cell shaded sort of look to it.
If you Google it, it's a fucking MS-DOS game. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so there was a game that I played on that I got gifted by my nan on PS2. It was called Auto Modelista. It was this racing game that was cell shaded, and I was like, "Is this fucking?"
Oh. Here you go. I'd never heard of 1995 PC racing game Screamer before developer Milestone announced a modern revival.
Hang on.
Bad.
Oh, hang on. Oh,
It's Tokyo Drift the game.
Wow, hang on. If this is what I'm thinking of, no fucking way. I had this. If this is the one I'm thinking of, I had this on a, what were the bigger floppy disks called?
I think that was still floppy disks made.
Yeah, but there was like, there's the 1/4 inch or whatever the big fuck off ones were. If it's the one I'm thinking of, but there's a lot more happening on screen than what I think was capable in those bigger floppy disks. So I may be misremembering. But there you go, more racing games. The only racing game really. No Need for Speed, no Burnout, no Forza. No
excuse me. There was Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
That don't count. Because saying that though, I did see that and go, ooh, my son would love that. Crap, I'm gonna have to play more Sonic Racer.
Next up, we have Stage Fright from the Overcooked guys. That looked interesting.
The trailer was a choice.
I missed the trailer because I was making Hadley's lunch at the time.
All right, so the trailer was essentially characters that kind of resembled the characters that you could get in Overcooked, and they was sitting there watching a screen in the trailer, and they're like, "Oh, this is the same guys that made Overcooked."
Oh, that's right. They were literally describing what what we couldn't see on the screen. Yeah, fuckers.
They were trying to be all smart about it. Look, I'm gonna play it because I loved Overcooked. Easy win for me. But yeah, get a little bit cute.
Ninja Gaiden's going back in time. It's a 2D game.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden was the one I was thinking of earlier. My bad. Not Onimusha.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden's like, hey, we've done the 3D space for ages. Let's go back and do some 2D shit.
Why not? What else are you gonna do?
It looked cool.
This one.
The Outer Worlds 2 is coming to PS5, baby. That's all that matters.
So I really liked the Outer Worlds one. I even recently was it when the PS5 like big fancy pants edition came out. We got a review code for it. Played it again. Never finished it because I just kept getting distracted and sort of wandering off into the distance. But I did like speaking of trailers, I did quite like this trailer. It's very tongue in cheek in terms of like, hey, these are all the sequels that that this studio's worked on, and now they're doing their own ones. That's pretty sweet. But coming in the same year as Avowed, that's fascinating. Mm-hmm. But having it come to PlayStation though, that I'm super excited for. I was having not like seen Outer Worlds 1 through. Have you finished it?
No.
Yeah, because I'm curious on what the story lead into 2 is, or are they doing the Elder Scrolls like they're connected but not really? Like it's quite tangential. But I guess we'll find out more over time. But speaking of interesting connections, we are getting a Square Enix character in a Capcom title. That feels weird to me. I'm sure it's been done before, but it feels weird. And that's in Tekken 8. So for Tekken
Clive.
8, they announced that Clive, which I'm sure is exciting for you, has come into Tekken 8.
In 2 days.
They did it in Tekken 7, apparently, says Mute. They had Noctis. Oh, yeah, they did have Noctis.
Yeah,
eh?
Noctis was in Thingo.
Yeah, that's odd.
I'm trying to think of what other. I mean, you know, they've been in Smash games. They've been.
Yeah, that's a little different. Like, but Smash is different because Smash by design is a bunch of random shit coming together.
Smash has everyone's.
Yeah. So not weird, but not exciting. Well, yeah, I don't give a shit about like Final Fantasy characters. So my only intrigue was how does he fit within the Tekken world? And had I paid attention in Tekken 7, I would have asked the same question. Like, how does Noctis fit within the world? Like, granted, there's a lot of really anime-ass characters in Tekken, but not as direct like Final Fantasy, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Oh, but he says, "Oh, boy, I wish my Tekken guys were here and they can explain it." Yeah, 100%. I want to know the story feed in. Obviously, it's pre-established with Noctis, but
Noctis was also in fucking Assassin's Creed Origins.
That one I can't explain.
They did a Final Fantasy crossover. Well, explain Assassin's Creed. Like,
next up was a trailer for Mafia: The Old Country, which I was already excited for. So give me more of that. Sweet, thank you, much appreciated.
Cool.
Which was then followed by Borderlands 4. So we did kind of get like the 2K powered hour, but thankfully it wasn't a fucking hour. Randy Pitchford came out being Randy Pitchford. Then Mafia was an easy sell. It was an easy sell. I didn't have to think too hard about it. Borderlands 4, however, I am admittedly a little burnt from 3. We played it on PS4. It ran like asshole. The menus lagged. The villains were horrible. Outside of playing it with people, it didn't work for me. I found all the original selling points of Borderlands, like self-referential humor, being a bit, tongue-in-cheek. Like, it crossed that line to just being utterly obnoxious. So, I would... and it looks as if, in what we're seeing of the trailer for Borderlands 4, the cell shading has reduced. It looks not as, intensely cell shaded like it did in 3. It looks a little bit more real and gritty. There's the new villain was it the Timekeeper, the Time Splitter, something like that. It was mentioned in some release. I hope he's more intriguing than the twins in 3. I was chatting at the wrestling show this weekend, and someone was like, "Oh, I reckon that's Handsome Jack."
Dude, Handsome Jack was like peak villain.
So if they're bringing Handsome Jack back, that'd be pretty sick. But Crimson in the chat does jump in and says, but the cell shading was the charm. It was the charm in 1 and 2. And then it kind of, by that point, too many people had done
No,
cell shading.
I think that's what defines that game. I think it would look wildly different if it was not that. I think that's what it is best known for.
Look, I think that is true. It was the game that like brought that to the front. But for me, what I see as Borderlands is the loot. It's the guns. It's working as a team, running into these things, and just straight up bullet sponging things. That's Borderlands to me. The cell shading was just part of it. And at the time, I looked at it rather than a stylistic choice as more of a mechanical choice, where you look at it and go, okay, you've done it to reduce render quality, which will allow you to have more guns, more enemies, more stuff like that. Crimson jumps in the chat and goes, it'd be like T-Pain without auto-tune. Spoilers, T-Pain without auto-tune, he's fucking awesome. Like, he can legitimately sing really, really well. So if Borderlands 4 was like T-Pain without auto-tune, sick. Big win. I know my T-Pain.
I'm going to smash through these last 4 really quickly because I just realized that I got to leave from work in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to fucking go.
It's going to be to go. So we've got Midnight Murder Club, which has a beta running now. It's also being published by Sony.
Yeah.
Midnight Murder Club is a take on the shooter genre where you have a pistol and a torch and everything's played in the dark. Looks cool. Beta's running for another week. Check it out. Fragpunk we've seen. It's the shooter where you draw cards in between rounds. You can change the world.
Oh yeah, you were real hyped up on this one in the past, eh?
Still hyped on it. It looks great. Looks good fun. Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Ryan's going to check it out because his kid's obsessed with it. Thick as Thieves looked great. It was by the guys who did Thief and whatever the other game is that they do. Essentially, it is a multiplayer thieving game where you're not working together with the other thieves. You're working against the other thieves, and you're all trying to steal the same shit. And you've got to stop the other thieves from stealing it before you can. Looked awesome.
It looked very good. It looked intriguing. Now, Mac, just sidebar. Now, granted, we've got our whole game of the year discussion to have. That's not going to get done in 20 minutes. So what I'm thinking, what if we...
I'm not recording tomorrow in the 40 degree.
No, not tomorrow. We record, it doesn't go live. We just record it when we want, but it goes up usual time next week.
Okay.
So we can record it fucking Wednesday. We can do whenever.
Sure.
That's not live. We'll just get it. And that way, and because it's going to be just that, it's not going to be a full hour episode. It'll be like 40 minutes, half an hour.
Cool. Sounds good.
Sick. Because, I'm very conscious of you having to go to work. I didn't realize. We knew we were going to get deep into fucking Game Awards.
Yeah.
We got fucking deep into Game Awards.
Yeah. So I'll just pull up a list because if we're not going to do that, then I'll pull up some of the other announcements that happened.
Yeah,
and we can dive a little bit further into that. Where the fuck is it? Okay. So things that I didn't have on the list was the likes of RGG Studio coming out, just being like, "Hey, we've got Virtua Fighter coming back."
Yeah, Virtua Fighter was odd because it was one of those ones where I thought they were kind of gone.
And they're also doing Project Century, which is a new game set in 1915 Japan, which it's
old-timey Yakuza, man. It's Yakuza old country.
Well, see, it very much looked akin to the man who forgot his name. I'm like, shit, does that guy still not remember his name? I'm like, is that the sequel? Is it like I still don't remember my name?
It's like, yeah. It's what was it? I know what you did last summer. I still know what you did last summer.
Yeah. So that looked cool. And on the back end of my love for Infinite Dragon, I kind of can't wait to see what they do next. Knowing that Pirate Yakuza is coming next year as well. We
originally, Paul and I were fuck-assing around, and I thought maybe, and it's been brought up again last week, Because when Draw Like a Dragon came out, like, this is really good. We should. Paul was like, I want to do a podcast. I want to do it. Yakuza like a podcast. And I was like, okay. And the idea was we would just go play them all and then talk about them, and we take as little or as long as we want. I think you'll get way more of a kick out of it than me. We should do that. Let's play Yakuza 0 over the break.
Let's play Yakuza.
I'm pretty sure we said that last break.
Yeah, probably.
Because, you could come in from, like, your love of Japan and all that sort of stuff. I just thought the game was real. I just thought Yakuza was a really cool concept. And Padge is Padge. Padge also loves JRPGs.
And then there was obviously the game that I thought you would absolutely adore, One Move Away, which looked like Unpacking, but like in first person.
Dude, I thought it was like Unpacking sequel. I was like shitting myself. I was like, get out.
I actually thought it was Unpacking VR.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this has got better all over.
It absolutely does. And like I think it's essentially boot Tetris.
Yeah.
As in, you'd be like, cool, or, here's your list of items, cram them into a boot. That I love, and because I think the story that they're telling, or they're looking to tell, is more around very similar to Unpacking it. You're packing up your car because of an event has happened, a time has happened, a moment has happened, which is forcing you to move place. And I think you can tell that in the same way that Unpacking was able to tell that really cool story in like without dialogue, but just by purely the world. I think they'll be able to do the same here. But speaking of bets and ass games, though, the other one that did get me, it was in the pre-show. It was cool.
Slay the Spire 2.
No, it was not Slay the Spire 2. But I know you're excited about that. It was.
Was it Dave the Diver in the Jungle?
No, because I've not finished Dave the Diver 1, but I did get excited. It was something about to do with the Shire.
That shitty fucking Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, the Cozy Hobbit game. It looks sick.
Yeah, live it in the Hobbiton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight out of Hobbiton. It was like, it looks pretty sick.
That's it.
Yeah.
No. You know the game that I fucking loved? I think it was also in the pre-show, and I can't believe I didn't have it on my list. It's a Bandai Namco game.
Oh yeah.
And it is based on the fucking secret level. It's the game that the secret level episode. The fucking Pac-Man. It's called Shadow Labyrinth.
That's the one. Yeah. That looks sick.
Yes.
I haven't watched the Pac-Man level yet, but just the fucking trailer looks sick.
Dude, so I'd watched the fucking. Have you watched the episode? You haven't watched the episode?
No.
So I'd watched the episode before I saw this trailer. I'm like, oh my god, it's the fucking game from the secret level. Yeah. And then it's like Bandai Namco. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, Yeah. That was cool. Enjoyed that. Then there was like a bunch of fucking cat games, man.
There were a lot of cat games.
So many cat games. Solasta 2. If you're big fans of like turn-based D&D style games, like akin to Baldur's Gate, Divinity, that looked cool. Final Fantasy's come to PC. Woo.
One looked like a cat food commercial, says Mute in the chat.
Yeah. Splitgate 2 got a new trailer. That's cool. Apparently, what's his name? That guy. What's his name?
Snoop Dogg.
No, not Snoop Dogg. The other guy that was there.
21
Post Malone. Post Malone.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Has a circus inside The Hunt for some reason. That was interesting. Warframe came out and they're like, hey, we're doing 1999. And I'm like, cool. Your game's been out for 15 years. It's too late to get in. I don't know what's going on. It's confusing and scary.
I did fast forward Warframe. I'm like, I'm not going to get it.
Power World's like, hey, we've got an expansion coming soon. It's free. It's called Faybreak.
Please buy it. We're about to get sued real hard.
They've patched all the mechanics out where you can throw the Pokeball and send the Pokemon out to where you want it to go.
Oh, really?
It's all gone. Now, when you call your pal out, it just appears beside you. You don't throw anything to it. Yeah, they patched the shit out of it. The first Berserker, Kazan, got another trailer. Dying Light, the Beast got another trailer.
Yeah, I thought that one would have popped you pretty hard. I saw Techland and I was like, ooh.
I'm still a fan. It's got Kyle Crane from the first game. You're playing as him again. Cool. I think the biggest surprise was for me was fucking CG Kit Harington in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I genuinely am kind of keen to play it, eh? Because
That was
like
cool.
you and I, like you literally like this week, you and I were discussing because you were like, I want to watch, I want a new TV series, and then somehow we're like, yeah, we should probably watch Game of Thrones. You know, I think I'm doing Game of Thrones again, which is beautiful because I had just thought about it like days before, going, maybe we should watch Game of Thrones again. Like the build up to that series is incredible, and season 9 is just or season 8 or whatever it was, the final season is just watching Daenerys turn heel and then super kick King's Landing. But yeah, I'd play that. Looks sick. Oh no, yeah, that Dispatch game, which was the Aaron Paul one with Laura Bailey, looks like poos.
Yeah.
What else?
But it looks like we're going to be eating well for a little while.
Yeah, look. As we start wrapping this up, because Jesus Christ, it is very much a setup of like, normally I get bored by the announcements. It just never, there's not enough to keep me interested. And like even most like state of plays, most whatevers, those digital conferences, that like they've never failed to win me over. If this year at the Game Awards, this is like one of the best showcases I've ever seen. Aside from all the noms, even the ones that I knew were not for me, aside from the anime crap, I was like, oh, I can see the appeal in that. Oh, I can see where they're going with that. Oh, I like what they're doing here. And I granted, it's just like I understand it's me just looking at it differently through a different lens.
Yeah.
And that completely changes my processing of the whole event. But it was really nice to be like, oh shit. Not like apart from Intergalactic, which is the only thing that made me go, but like everything was like, oh sick, oh that's cool, and like I wouldn't have predicted half of these things, which makes it even more fun. From announcement side, Max, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, they hit the nail really well on the shit that's going to be way in the future versus shit that's just around the corner. Which is good.
A lot of blank 2025s on the. We can assume because GTA 6, no one knows.
But overall, a nice diverse list of different genres for everyone. It's good.
It was very, very good. Well, we don't even have to talk about what games are coming out this week because are there any?
Nothing.
And even then, like we just talked about a bunch of games that are coming out later. So like, chill the fuck out, right?
I'll have a look here. Pull it up. This list was updated 10 days ago, so today the 15th. We've got Flint Treasure of Oblivion coming to PS5 on December 17th. Alien Rogue Incursion coming to PSVR 2 on December 19th.
Nice. They are games.
There are your games. There's probably more than that, but
effort.
GameSpot's list is iffy at
yeah,
best.
VG 24/7 used to have the best list in the world. Then they stopped. It's us. All right. So, look, as we mentioned, we were going to do our Game of the Year discussion this week as well. However, we went real long on Game Awards, and we have lists. So, there will be one more episode up this year. It will drop on the 23rd of December. It will not be, we won't be recording it live, but you'll get it in your feed. Something if you do, after you spend Christmas with your family and hate yourself. So like, I'm going to listen to some shitty podcast and it's going to be us. And we'll talk about our Game of the Year. So we'll say, I'm sure we'll say at the end of the other episode as well, but while there's people here in the chat and watching live and whatnot. So a big thank you to all of you. We are hitting episode, almost 380 episodes at this point. Which is way longer than is sane. It continues to be an absolute pleasure to do this show each and every week with yourself, Max. as well as just doing it for the fun of it.
Mm.
You know, we've talked in the past how like we've hit our peak years ago. Like we kind of cruise our way through now, and we still get like thankfully hundreds of listeners a week on our show, but like I get we're not going to be that next echelon thing. It's not going to happen. So I just kind of do it for the fun of it, and it's been really lovely to be able to do it in, as I said, like however many years we've been doing this. It's like a 6 year. So what does 2025 look like? Yeah, it's mostly the same, really.
Except on a Monday now.
Well, that was the thing. So one of the things we were discussing is the amount of times that I've had to move the show to a Monday night recording because of my fucking bullshit. And like the only reason we've never changed the day was just because it's always been that way. That sounds familiar. That sounds like some Australia Day nonsense right there. But yeah, we have always done it on a Sunday to go live on a Monday. I don't see it being a large issue, but would it make our lives easier? Maybe. What's your thoughts on all that, Max?
I'm not fussed. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Sweet.
Because there are days that I'm like, hey, Sunday's not going to work for me. Like, granted, yeah.
But then the problem that we have is like then will eventually Mondays not work for us, and then Tuesday, and then the vicious cycle. But I think especially when we've got kids, and you know weekends are hard enough as it is, and trying to like crumple everything together on a Sunday night is a bit gnarly. But with a Monday night, we're already crumpled from work, so like
it wouldn't be so hard if it wasn't time constraint. Like obviously, me having to work Sunday nights is obviously Like if I didn't have this, it wouldn't matter. We could just push it back an hour, and we could still record that Sunday night. But it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah, life is life. Because look, I've talked about it here on the show before. You know, X amount of years ago, I cared so much more about the hustle and making sure we did this a particular way. I don't fucking care anymore in like the nicest way. Like I'm not going to grind myself to like make 1,000 videos a week to, you know, do this, that, the other. I don't have the time because there are things in my life, even though I love this show and I love doing it, as I've grown older and I've seen some shit, my priorities sit elsewhere. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing this. It just means we'll have to jigger it a little bit. In the same day that the same at the time when we stopped doing The Young and the Restless. The same time when we stopped streaming often. The same as when we did all the other little sides, like the movie shows and stuff. It just came to a point where it was unmanageable. And, you know, I know that like with our competitors within the Australian space, like Platinum Explosion, they've gone to fortnightly and they haven't released an episode in like the last couple of weeks. So like they might be done. I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm going to do this until I fucking die. But I also understand that like, as my weekend commitments have altered, whether it be having my son, because like dropping him off at his mum's to then scurry back here to make sure I eat dinner and get ready for the show is hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm working, I do wrestling shows on Sundays now occasionally as well. And I get so much enjoyment and happiness out of both my son and my wrestling shows. I was like, oh, well, we have to slightly jigger it. And thankfully you're pretty chill, so it helps.
I mean, Tuesdays are literally the only days that is just no good for me.
Yeah, no, that's way too deep in the week. Ugh.
So,
because this is what I use in my head to wrap at the end of my week up. Yeah. So now I have to reposition my thinking. Like we change this, so now it starts our week. There you go. But yeah,
Alrighty,
thank you again, Max, for another 12 months of this nonsense.
It's always a pleasure. I love doing this. It's great. And, you know, like you said, thank you to everyone who comes and watches and listens. Thank you to all the publishers and the PR teams that help and support us.
They have no reason to do so.
They are very kind, and we are very grateful.
Very. Absolutely. Like, it's genuinely. All right, you need to get to work.
But enough of this frivolity. I need to leave for work in like 3 fucking minutes. So, this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/popculture. We watch record the show live. We jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to join the if you want to join the show, you can head over to twitch.tv/popculture. So we can watch record the show live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. If you're on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating, written review. If on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/popcultures, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop. We can buy shirts, other sort of shit without logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players.
Have a safe and happy holidays.
Or don't, I'm not your dad.